The bill came. The bill didn't come. He asked for the bill. And in French, he said 2 bills. And then so they came. And I was like, if someone says, I want to take you out, then I want to be taken out, which means to me to pay and whatever. So we did that. I paid and it's fine. And then after I was honest and I just said it, like, I don't know. Cause I said like, yeah, I thought you were going to take me out. And like, to me, that means pay.
From girls thinking that every woman should marry the nerd, to women breaking down in tears because a guy wanted to split the bill, I've got all the drama for you today. So let's get into the mess.
It's easy to start feeling bitter and jaded towards men after having negative experiences, but I'm trying to be as open-minded and open-hearted as I can dating-wise. There are good men out there. I am not a man hater. I know a lot of really great men. The next guy that you date didn't do the things that the last guy did to you. Be careful, protect yourself, but try to be open. As hard as it is, try not to bring the baggage from the past relationships into the new ones.
I don't think she's giving bad advice. And if women, and let's be honest, men, don't want to keep reliving the same bad experience when it comes to dating, they should change the type of person they're going for and spend a little more time vetting people before they get in too deep.
Marry the nerd. No, seriously. Marry the nerd. The nerdy guy. Marry him. Instead of playing games with your mind, he'll be playing games on his phone or his Xbox or his PlayStation. I promise you, life is so much simpler when you're dealing with a Star Wars collection and Pokemon cards and not waiting for them to text you back or wondering if they're gonna call you. If you want to date the guy that's playing mental games and playing with your feelings and ghosting you, that's fine. You can date them. You can have fun doing that. But marry the nerd. I promise you will thank me.
While marry the nerd sounds good on paper, let's be honest, most women aren't gonna start giving these guys the time of day, at least not until they're older. If a girl's already a gamer and into stuff like that, it'll be much easier for her to connect with the nerd. But even then, I'd like to know what level of nerd she's talking about. I mean, are we talking Henry Cavill or Sheldon Cooper? In any case, if a woman's not attracted to this type of guy, she won't be able to override her instincts just like that. Even though the nerdy guy might offer emotional stability, loyalty, and reliability, is that going to be enough to win a girl over if he's not ambitious, confident, or successful? I doubt it, at least not until she starts maturing and begins to appreciate the traits of a nice guy. In this clip, she talked about women not having to worry about the nerd playing with their minds or feelings. But we know that a lot of girls thrive on that shit, especially when they're young. She even said that girls can have fun with these types of dudes, but at the end of the day, they should marry the nerd, which to me just sounds like the nice guy finishing last.
I went on a date and it's like, it was good. And then yet, like, I'm just tired of, like, I don't know. The bill came. The bill didn't come. He asked for the bill. And in French, he said 2 bills. And then so they came. And I was like, if someone says, I want to take you out, then I want to be taken out, which means to me to pay and whatever. So we did that. I paid and it's fine. And then after I was honest and I just said it, like, I don't know. Cause I said like, yeah, I thought you were going to take me out. And like, to me, that means pay. And then suddenly his English wasn't so good anymore. When he was like, I don't understand what you mean. I was honest and like, whatever, what else do I have to lose? I just want to be honest because there's a way that I want to be treated. And like, I might as well just tell someone, like, what else do I have to lose? I don't know. And then like afterwards he was like, next time I'll pay. Like unprompted, he said that after we were having another conversation. I said, okay. And then he said, are you free this week? And I said, yeah. And then I texted him after and I'm like, I had a nice time, thanks. And then he read it and didn't respond. And it's like, okay, I don't know. Like, I'm just tired of... I'm happy I was honest. But, like, I just, like, want a fucking gentleman.
I get the whole, if someone asks you out, they should pay. But by default, that means 95% of dates will be paid for by the guy because a woman's not going to ask. I don't know if she met up with this guy before, but I don't think people who've only spoken online and never met in person should be going on expensive dates. You don't even know if you like this person because talking through text and even through FaceTime isn't the same as doing it in person. This sort of thing has started to annoy a lot of guys online, and you can see it in the comments. It seems like a rising number of men are on the vibe of, since men and women can both make money equally, why can't everyone pay their own way? For me, I'd always pay on the first date, but if I was meeting someone from a dating app, you best believe that we're going for a coffee before I start spending any real money. While one date might not break the bank, if you keep doing that shit over and over again because things just aren't working out, it starts to add up. When I looked through the comments, there were two guys arguing about this exact thing. First date should be 50-50, like a coffee or something. I have wasted so much money to be told, I got friendly vibes, right after she gets home. I had that same thing happen, but that didn't stop me from continuing to pay. I don't look at it as wasting, but then again, I have more than enough money to spend. Lucky for you, one date a week cost me like $60. I didn't want to spend $240 per month for 4 dinners. Oh, that's fair. I tend to spend around $200 for one date alone, which I personally find is on the cheaper side for a date. See, it might be on the cheaper side for this guy, but not everyone wants to spend hundreds of dollars on someone they don't know, even if they do have the money. I wonder if this guy wanted to split the bill because he wasn't feeling it, or is it something he always does on a first date? I guess we'll never know, but what do you guys think?
I need to know the psychological diagnosis behind why you can tell a man exactly what you're attracted to, like what traits, and a man on the internet will literally be like, no, you're not actually into that. Like that has to be classified somewhere in the DSM. I don't get it. I just made a post yesterday about how I prefer men who are really into me, like obsessed with me, like simp for me, like people who are just very, very like on all the time in a relationship, like none of that nonchalant shit. And my comments are fucking flooded with men being like, no, that's not what women actually want. That's not what you actually want. Like me specifically, as though they know me, the inner workings of my mind and what I'm attracted to in my dating history. That's crazy. Like that literally has to be some kind of diagnosis or pathology. This has happened to me before. Like I have made a comment saying like, oh, I like short kings. And I do. I actually prefer men who are on the shorter side. Like all of my past male partners have been under 5'10", and I prefer it that way. And I have literally gotten comments from men being like, no, you're lying. Like, that's not true. All women prefer men over 6 feet tall. Like, I'm literally living proof that that is not true. I'm telling you exactly what I'm into. And you are sitting there and telling me that I like something else. That is insane. I'm going to start giving the same energy back. And whenever I see a guy being like, oh, I like XYZ type of woman, I'm going to be like, no, you don't. You don't even like women. You like men. See how insane that sounds?
The reason guys say stuff like that is because they've been told by women in the past that they want a certain type of guy, but what they described rarely matched up with what they actually went for. No one with an ounce of common sense would say that all women want specific traits in a guy, but more often than not, they look for very similar things. The girl in this video said she's into shorter guys and that all her partners have been under 5'10", but I'd argue that 5'10" isn't even that short. And most girls wouldn't really be able to tell the difference between 5'10" and 6 foot. Saying all that though, when I looked through the comments on this video, she did reply to someone saying that her actual preference is for guys who are between 5'5" and 5'8". And while this may very well be true, we can all agree that women having a preference for guys who are 5'5" isn't typical. While I don't know what traits she's looking for in a man, because I don't know her, the only thing I can talk about is what women look for in a general sense when it comes to dating.
Isn't it interesting how when you hear a guy talking about why he likes a girl, a lot of the times they're like, oh, she's so empathetic, she listens to me so well, she's so kind to me, and all of it is about how she's servicing him. And then when you speak to a woman and you're like, why do you like him? They're like, oh, because he's really funny and, you know, he's just really enjoyable to be around. I love the way that he thinks. And it's all about like things that they like about him. No judgment, no thoughts. Just an observation.
To be honest, you could say the same about women, but in my experience, women aren't going to be that forthcoming about why they're into a guy. It's funny that she mentioned how guys talk about all the ways girls can service them, But what about how women look for men who are protectors and providers? Isn't that servicing them? I remember listening to a podcast and a guy was asking a woman what she wanted in a man. And she listed off all these things like, he should be kind, honest, loyal, funny, and spiritual. And apparently, these were the things that were most important to her. The thing is, the guy noticed that she didn't talk about money at all. So he asked if she'd date a guy who was making like $30K. And her response was a resounding no, even if he had all the other qualities she wanted. What that says to me is that the most important thing to her was the money and his ability to provide, as she was looking for a man who was making six figures. But it's funny how she left that bit out, maybe because it's not the most flattering thing to admit. Anyway, I say all that to say that relationships aren't just about women servicing men. That shit goes both ways. I'm gonna end today's video here, but let me jump into a few of the comments before I check out because I'm curious about what people had to say. So making her laugh and making her feel comfortable isn't serving her. The whole he's funny, he's enjoyable to be around, love the way that he thinks, equals he's entertaining and makes me feel good around him. That's no different to him saying that he chose a girl that makes him feel good. She's parroting what's been posted by others. The fact that this revelation is so prevalent is embarrassing, making it seem as if all of us women are unable to think things through. Right, not his job, height, plans dates, buys her gifts, or any other resources. These comments were straight up facts. How is a guy being funny and enjoyable to be around not servicing the woman in any way? And the last commenter hit the nail on the head. And of course, the things he mentioned weren't even alluded to in this video. Anyway guys, that's about it for today. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.